To the round
Thank
table.
you.
How you guys doing today?
Thank you.
Y'all doing good?
Yep.
Are you enjoying our first 5-6 days of Women History month so far, right? It's just great.
And you know, it's the women who brought the 70-degree weather.
Oh, come on. I'll echo that. If that's what you say.
Francesca.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
love that. I love
If
that.
that's what you say,
I
we'll
think,
go
I
with
think it's
that.
because I just got back from Costa Rica. So
You brought the weather.
I
Yay, you brought it back.
Thank you.
Okay.
I love it. So we'll go with that. Okay. I like that.
Collaborating forces.
Yes. So Donna, since you brought the weather back, you're going to be the first one I ask question, okay? Ms. Donna, what is your center care experience at your current position right now as associate hospital administrator right now at ECMC?
Sure, Sheila. So I've been in the role a little over 13 years. Got hired back in 2011. And at that time, under the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, hospitals were paid to report their information in terms of patient experience scores. They shifted the model, and instead of pay for reporting, we went to pay for performance. So it was based on scores, how patients and families score you. And in my mind, that made sense because in the real world, we get paid based on performance. We don't get paid for showing up.
There you go.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know this, right? And Roswell and Fran at Client, right? So it's all about what we do, how we treat our patients, how we treat the families, and within that helps to coordinate the care. And so it's really about shifting the culture to understand your true reason of why you're there. You're there, you took an oath to take care of patients, to serve, right? To serve patients at their most vulnerable times.
So
And
is
see
most
them.
of the patients that you deal with in your role, are they more the ones that's on their bed of afflictions?
Not necessarily, because they could be patients that are coming in just for day-to-day treatment.
Oh, good.
And so we do everything, right? From trauma to,
Yes.
Teeth cleaning. But in there is the total experience. And that's the thing that we get to be gracious with, we get to be kind with, we get to be courteous and respectful with. And it's about how we treat patients and families during their care, that continuum of care.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And I like the fact that it's a scorecard to it.
It's a scorecard.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
have to measure it.
Yeah,
You
I
have
like
to
that.
measure it. So
Well,
And you get
Miss,
compensated based on your performance,
we
which
get
is very fair.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's
It's very
good.
fair.
Yep.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Ms. Francesca Messiah, how are you doing today, my
Wonderful,
sister? I'm
Sheila.
loving that
How
necklace.
are you? Oh, thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Ms. Francesca, tell me a little bit about your new role at Kaleida. I know you're still a manager for development.
Workforce development.
Right?
Yes.
And are you still, as the community has requested for you with wellness, you're so in the community with your tables and always giving away Sabre tickets and this and that. So now with this new role, are you still able to stay in the
And
community?
in my mind, that makes
Yes,
sense.
my new role as manager of workforce development, it's almost a year old, but I've been at Kaleida 20 wonderful years. And I'm still involved with community. Matter of fact, I'll be delivering some information this weekend to the Black Men's Health event at Northland Center. Great Lakes Cancer Care information, Western New York Urology, and information on workforce. So you can still call me, still contact me. The other day, St. John's, my church, called me, and I dropped off cardiac information. And I have a great collaboration with the dental department at ECMC. Dr. Furstein doing cancer screenings, dental screenings. But back to workforce. So workforce development, we all know, and I always say one of the number one areas when I did outreach, people would always ask jobs. They'd say, I want to work at Kaleida.
Right.
So to me, it was just a natural role. The other day I was thinking, living the life. And I guess I really am. I've always wanted to work in healthcare, an area that I've liked. And the whole idea there are hundreds of jobs. When you go to Kaleida Health website, there are hundreds of jobs. Jobs with degrees. Some jobs only require a high school diploma. Some jobs barely require that. So we're looking at all the different educational institutions in Western New York and as far as Rochester to see, is there a tie? When is that sterile processing class graduating? You know,
Right.
when is the surgical tech? When is that radiology? When are those techs graduating? Connecting with them, getting our staff, I'm part of HR, getting them to speak to the class, getting them to maybe even have interviews. We do interviews on site. So you don't have to come to the hospital, look for parking. You're all nervous. We're interviewing you in your own house.
Right.
Meaning your school. If it's EOC, if it's TroCare, you be EOC, TroCare, if it's BCAT. Also working with the high schools. Many high schools have healthcare clubs. Working with those high schools, bringing those high schools into the labs, bringing them into the hospital for tours, having people speak to them. The other day we had our chief medical officer, Dr. Minio, spoke on Zoom to students at Hutch Tech, Buffalo Public School. We speak to public schools, private schools, charter schools. So we speak to all schools because it's all about pipelining.
Exactly.
Brownsville, ECMC, Catholics, Kalida. We need people. We need those young people to also. We want them as well as to enroll in healthcare, get involved in healthcare.
Okay. So thank you for that
You're
overview
welcome.
of
You're
your
welcome.
job, because on this first half we want a lot. I want some hidden facts about you guys. So Ms. Bernardo, so you are a director for community outreach and engagement at Roswell Park. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, and what does that role entail for you? You do a lot with WUFO, like every one of our events you guys are at, you're tabling. So what does that role entail for you?
I do. Thank you, Sheila. So my journey at Roswell started almost 8 years ago next month, and I was actually diversity, equity, inclusion. I was hired as a diversity, equity, inclusion assistant, and it transformed into what I am today. So I got promoted into this role last August. But while I was actually in the diversity office, I dealt a lot with the community outreach piece that we had in DEI. And now we have a new chief diversity officer, Crystal Rodriguez. So we're sort of like a split the team. And the community outreach piece that I was doing is now sitting with community outreach and engagement, which is
Crystal Rodriguez Dabney.
yes, Rodriguez Dabney. Yes. So my role is pretty much to go into the community, find out what's needed, and figure out a way that Roswell could sort of be a bridge and a resources for those individuals. So we do work very closely with WUFO and other things that we do throughout the year, which is the toy drive, the turkey drive. So that's pretty much my job, to go into the community and be a blessing to others. So I call it's a blessing to be a blessing to other
Yes.
people.
It is.
And-
There it
You
is.
always come with a huge smile on your face. You're always coming to see how you can rally, how you can help with the table. You know, I think each one of the staff members know you as
Yep.
if you work on the team
Yep.
with us. So we really thank you for all what you do in the community and how you help us. So guys, now we know you're professional, you know, what you guys do at work, but I want to know the real woman. As we're celebrating Women History Month, we sitting at this round table in the studio. I want to know some things about you guys that most people might not know.
Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Donna, what do you like to cook?
Oh, what do I like to cook? What's the favorite? Oh, salmon.
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 Okay.
I love a salmon.
potatoes
Me too.
And
I love
broccoli. That's my thing.
Okay,
Salmon.
salmon.
Yeah, I
Ooh, I
love
love
salmon.
I love salmon.
Yeah.
You like any sauce on top, or you just
Oh
like
yeah,
it
it's all the
straight?
dill, no, all the
Love it.
dill, all the salmon seasoning, the more garlic the better, pesto,
Yes.
all that.
Bernardo,
yes.
what about you?
I am from Dominican Republic. I was born and raised in DR. I came to New York City when I was very young. So one of the things that I love to cook is one of our traditional meals. It's called tres golpe, which is like a mashed plantain with fried cheese, fried eggs,
Oh my gosh.
onions, and salami. You can fry that too. So I love making that. It's super easy to make and people love it. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Ms. Francesca?
Well, I have carried on the tradition from my grandmother, my mother, and my sister rolls, homemade rolls. Yeah, so I really enjoy making them, and I always add love to
To it. Okay, I love it. I love it. Well, guys, we got a break that we're going to go to, but when we come back, I want to know, how do you handle no's? So on the other side of the break, we'll dive into that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Sheila.
Okay. Yeah. So
always goes so
Facebook.
I know. I'm like, I wanted to say something.
How you
more.
doing?
that's
You
what
gonna
I'm
have time.
hearing
This is
Facebook, hang
Facebook.
out with us.
Thank you.
You know, go to power965radio.com to find up all of our up and coming events we have coming up. We got our Easter egg hunt coming up at Mount Olive Baptist Church. That's our annual event. Then we have a bus trip going to Detroit to check out Child's Right Museum. We're going to go to Motown. We're going to go to Anita Baker IHOP. Then we're going to have some fun time in Detroit. Then we're going to jump back. We're going to do our Mother's Day luncheon,
Yep, get
which
your
is May
tickets.
5th. Yep, get your tickets.
Yeah.
May 5th. It's going to be at Salvatore. It is on a Sunday, and it is at 1 o'clock. So make sure you guys understand it's a Sunday. That's a little change of a twist for us. And then we're going to get ready to do Juneteenth in Buffalo and in Atlanta. So if you're in Atlanta, come on down to Juneteenth with us because we're in Buffalo and Atlanta. Then we're going to come back with our BMMCA. That's a 3-day event at Millennium. And when I tell you this year, we added so many new twists to it, you don't want to miss it. You really don't. Even if you're not looking to break into the industry, trust me, we got something for you. It's going to be a good day. Good day.
And you have the best church service.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, man.
yeah.
I know.
That's
I
one of my
know.
favorite parts. Yep.
I know.
Yep.
Bernardo always say that's her
Yeah.
favorite part. Yeah. So yeah. So and then we got the competition. After that, we go into the competition. So Facebook, stay with us. Tag your friends. Tell them to tune in to WUFO Power 965 Radio and 1080 on your AM dial. See, Facebook, we kind of already know the time down on this. I could have had said about 6 more words to y'all. So she's so professional. I just love my Terry Davis.
I look forward to giving one.
And we're back. If you guys missed the first half of the roundtable, we are celebrating Women's History Month here in the city of Buffalo. And in the studios with me, I have Ms. Donna Brown from ECMC. I have Ms. Francesca Messiah from Kaleida Health. And I have Ms. Bernarda Aries from Roswell Park Institute. Ladies, on the other side of the break, we talked about what you like to cook. You kind of seasoned us up there. I want to know how, outside of your roles, how do you handle no? Ms. Donna.
How do I handle no? I kind of have to peel it like an onion,
Okay.
right? Because there's always what's the reason behind the no, right? So it depends on the situation, what it's about, but typically it's always peeling it back to see what the issue is. Why is it a no? And, eventually we can get to the yes, but you got to break down the barriers that come with no. Maybe it's a fear. Maybe it's not understanding. Maybe someone has, questions. And so you have to get to the root to get to that sweet spot of understanding what the no represents.
That's good. Ms. Bernard?
I
about
agree
you?
with Donna. I think is based on the situation. Some answers are definitely a no, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
But just
No
accept
means
it.
no
Yep,
today.
no means
Okay.
no. Yep.
I like
But
Right,
that-
and today.
Okay,
To that
right.
point, Sheila.
Yeah, see, that's why I always
Today.
tell people,
Right.
no, it's today, but
Yeah.
tomorrow it might,
might
be
be
something
different,
else.
right.
Okay,
Yep.
I like that.
And if it's in terms of anything that I need to accomplish, I typically ask, what do I need to get that yes? And depending what they say, you be sure I'll be working to get that yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I do when it comes to those no's that I can definitely change.
Okay. Ms.
I look
Francesca?
and see who said the no. If it's a committee, like who do I kind of maybe need to talk to? Because sometimes I feel that it shouldn't be a no. And it is a no. Can't change it. But maybe I can talk to the person.
Right.
Maybe I can collaborate with somebody else. Maybe there's another way of getting around that. And that's where collaborations come in.
I like
Like,
that.
okay, you said no.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see who else says yes.
I like
It
that.
is.
So while you got the floor, what's your formula to win?
My what?
Your formula to win.
My formula to win, I'm a collaborator. And I believe in collaborations. If you win alone, that's not really a win. When you win together, to me, that's when you win big. And I believe in all kinds of collaborations. I've worked at a few different places over the years. I try not to burn bridges. I apologize if I've burned any bridges. I try not to burn bridges. I try to be able to go back to where I had worked or what I did before. Because just because I am where I am now doesn't mean that there was anything wrong with where I was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
know, so building on
I
collaborations.
like that.
Yeah.
Donna, what's your formula to win?
My formula to win is, for me, it's about the surrender. Yeah, it's about the surrender. There's like a 4-step process, right? That I've looked at over time.
Yeah.
And you know, we start out to me as like survival, right? We survive. Then in the survival, we seek to understand. And when we seek to understand, we have to surrender to get to the serenity
Yeah.
of it all,
Yeah.
right? But seeking, surrendering gets you into your serenity. And that's the formula that I typically go with.
I like that.
That's nice.
Miss Bernard?
Oh my God, I have so many things that I use.
Yeah.
But above all of them, I would say praying.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
First.
gonna
Like,
say.
when
I
I-
was gonna say praying.
When I am going through something, I have to do a presentation,
Yes.
applying for a job,
Yes.
any kind of interaction, I usually pray to God that
Have
it will
to.
go however He wants
Yeah.
it to go.
Take out.
There it is.
And so that's why sometimes when those no's come in for me, I know that maybe God intended for it to be a no, and I gotta just move on and move forward. So,
Wrap it up and,
so
and
I
live with it.
Yep,
Yeah.
I live
Yeah.
with it. So God is my formula to
That's
win.
the
When
That's
I'm
right.
down,
God's
I
my
want to-
guide.
Yep.
Right here in this book, as you say that at the top, it says Luke 21:14-15. And then when you pull back that scripture, what it is Lord, you speak for me.
Yes,
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 yeah.
Right?
yes.
Yes.
So anything that I do, that is always the center of my
Absolutely,
joy
yep.
before
Yes.
I carry and do anything.
Yes.
Mhm.
So as women, as all of us are sitting here in manager roles, high profit roles in your companies within, have you had a chance to let other people see your pain? For me, when my parents died, that was very painful, dark place for me. But I was able to get through it. Staff knew. And then when my son had his horrible car accident, very dark time, chance to get through any pain that might have came up your way that you had to handle, challenge, but still.
And I just
Sure.
so today, a year ago, so my sister Nikki told me she had cancer, and I had to be on the radio show.
Yeah.
And you were like the first person. Remember,
Yeah.
I came in the studio.
Yeah.
I knew I had to come into the studio. I knew she would not want me to have stopped.
Mhm.
And I came in here and I said, "How am I going to do it?" And
Yeah.
I remember it was an interview show.
Yeah.
But you know, number one, God is first. You know, God had shown me some signs, and but God, just putting God first in front of everything. I know I didn't always do that, but now I do, and I understand, and that's what helped me get through it. And I do let people see my pain sometimes because I know friends saw my pain.
Donna, have you let others see your pain throughout your job? Still having to go to work and do what you need to do, but like, look, today I'm just in this space, but I'm still here to perform and perform at a level of excellence.
I have to. In every role that I've had, and Sheila, you've kind of walked with me in everything.
Yes.
In my role, both professionally and personally, right? I've taken some serious hits, but in that I have my tribe, and I have my God, and God puts the people around
Yep,
me to
absolutely.
support me, to carry me through, because I'm doing His work, and I have to do that.
Yeah.
Right? He's ordained my steps. He's ordained my whole path, my whole journey.
Order my steps.
And like I said, it's the tribe, and you've been that cornerstone for me. And I think there's probably about 5 sisters on that tribe that have really truly been the cornerstone in some of my deepest, darkest hours. And I'll be like, Sheila,
Right, girl. Vice versa.
Right?
Right.
And so when you know what your purpose is and what you're walking in, and you know that God will never give you any more than what He has for you.
Amen.
Yeah.
You handle
And then I'm grounded, being in healthcare for the last 13 years. My pain does not amount to anything in comparison to what I get to see every day.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
We're a level 1 trauma hospital. We see the good, the bad, we see it all. We see it all.
Yeah,
So that keeps me grounded.
that keeps
as
you
well.
grounded. Ms.
Mhm.
Bernardo, have you let others see your pain?
Not really, to be honest. It's very
Really?
difficult for me to do that. In fact, when I am going through something and it's really deep, hopefully I don't get emotional, I typically stay away from my friends. I feel like the way that I feel, it's not positive, so I don't want to kind of inflict that on somebody else. So I kind of stay away when I'm going through really difficult times. But when I cannot take it anymore and I have to trust somebody, I have a circle of friends that are very supportive, always there for me. Even if it's like, get on a plane and come over here,
Right.
they're there for me. So when they see my pain, that means that it's too much for me to bury.
Yeah.
And of course, God is always first.
Mhm.
But you need people around you to kind of make you feel better when you're not feeling well. So
And even in that pain, you get to help others grow.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Because
yeah.
when as you come up, right, and as God elevates you, especially women, because you see the exterior, you see the package of the end result, right? But the pain and the sacrifice and everything that has gone with that, you don't really get to see that.
You don't.
Right? And so I try to show it. I share it as much as possible, especially with young women coming up, nieces, nephews, all of them. Try to say that, it's not easy. It's not easy. And then being a black woman on top of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a
That's
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, that's gonna happen on the third week. So you guys make sure you tune in on that one.
And then
Okay?
black woman.
Yeah.
to add one last thing to that, sometimes when I am feeling in my pain and I feel I'm not feeling my best, I walk into the hospital lobby and I see patients going through cancer.
Come on.
Yes.
That perhaps,
Yes.
Come
have
on.
their days are counted. So
Yes.
I pretty much take
Yep.
my pain back and I'm like, this is nothing compared to what they're
To
going
what
through.
they're
So,
doing. Yeah. No,
so
that's
it's,
good.
yep. So I'm glad that I work there because it kind of reminds me and keeps me humble
It
of
does.
how worse it could be.
And
So
Yeah,
reflects you
when
back.
when there's nothing
Yeah.
when walking into an elevator and watching people crying, it's like it just breaks your heart.
Right,
Yeah,
Especially men.
yeah. Well,
When the
yeah, I see a
fathers-
lot of that.
The
A lot of
fathers and the
sons.
husbands and
Yeah,
the
the reality.
Yeah.
Reality.
So as little girls growing up, we always dream like, hey, when that car went by, that was gonna be our car. We was gonna have a house. We're gonna have that, right? Embrace your childhood happiness. Has any one of you said, I wanted to do this when I was a childhood, and has any of that came to fruition?
Well, let me say, I know that when I was little, like first, second grader, I would say kindergarten. I had show and tell. There was show and tell,
Yeah.
and the teacher would say, "But anyone else besides Francesca have something for show and tell."
So that must mean every class you had something to say.
Every day I saw something new. And that's how I look at life. That's how I look at healthcare. That's how I look at my job. That's how I take no's. You say no? Okay. Well, there must be something new around the corner. I always had a very positive outlook. I was blessed. I was born to a family that was able to make all that happen. God made that happen. And I always wanted something where I could impact people's lives. And one year I studied food, clothing, and shelter of every single country. I don't know if it was seventh grade history.
Wow.
So a lot of what I do, so in terms of culture and DEI and diversity, I've always understood that. But in terms of your question, as a kid, doing what I want to do, I would say I really am. I'm in healthcare. I'm helping people.
Wanted to do when you were a child?
I want to do something in the public. I want to do something helping people.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't good at math and science.
well, thanks for letting me know.
Well, yeah. Well, we know not to put her on the treasury board for the collective.
That's right. You've never seen me here. So
I love it.
I love it, Frank. And could think about when you were in childhood days.
So Sheila, you know the journey.
Yes.
You know the journey, and my journey in my childhood was very traumatic. It was very, very traumatic. So I didn't get to really have the dreams that most children would have because I was too busy trying to survive. And that's, like I said, that's another
That's
story.
it, yeah.
That's another show.
Mhm.
But as God saw fit, he shifted that. He shifted that. And so my childhood actually started, I would say, at 13 is when God made that shift in my life. And I was placed with my father and my other mother. And that's where my dream started to take shape, because she was a woman that said, you're going to be somebody. I don't know what or who, but I'm going to make sure that you're somebody. And so I got exposed to the arts. I took ballet for 12 years. So it became very rich, but it became very rich at a later time in life.
So that's good.
But it came.
It came, yep. And that's the most important part. Miss Bernardo, embrace your childhood happiness.
I keep it light and fun. I grew up in the Dominican Republic. We didn't have much. And I always saw people driving in vehicles. So I was like, oh, one day I want to have my own car and drive. And so it's something silly, but I am driving my own car. And I am very happy that I was able to accomplish that.
Now
dream.
that's what I'm talking about. I love it. I
Yep,
love
yep.
that. Well, guys, thank you so much for the first half of Women History Roundtable. I really appreciate you guys being honest and open with our community and really giving some hidden facts of who you are behind the title of the big manager, associate, and what you do at the hospitals. You know, you when you think of hospitals, you're thinking of doctors, but you guys are the one that's on the ground making it happen so the doctors can be successful.
Right.
So I really appreciate and thank you guys for all what you did. I want to say to my audience, I do have a second half that's going to be coming on, and we have Ms. Caprice Butts, and we also have Ms. Robin Mann. Ms. Robin Mann is from the Prevention Council, and Ms. Caprice Butt, when you talk about wellness, I mean, she's going to lay it down so beautifully, how she takes natural products and really take it to another level. So guys, don't you go nowhere. On the other side, I do want to take time to thank Ms. Mercedes Wilson for the sample jars of her relish. All of the women got the jars.
Love it.
And you can find her jars in Lexington Co-op, Tops, Wegmans, Dash, and pretty much any other supermarket it is. You can find her Dash.
And follow her on Facebook.
And follow her on Facebook. Yes, so I say to the women here, Cicely Tyson once said, the path that you are on was designed for you and you alone.
Absolutely.
And each one of you guys are on your own path. So to the audience on the other side of the break, I will come back in the studio. In 2 minutes, I will have Miss Caprice Butts and Miss Robin Mann.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you guys.
I feel like
We could have
I know. We could have kept going,
we
right?
could have a whole show.
Yeah, I might have to have